Take 35. Hey Jim, how you doing? Listen, I appreciate the time you put aside for you and I to get together today. Now you may see me glancing down here. The reason being I have some bullets because the company and myself want to make sure I don't miss anything that's important to you. Okay? Now, I don't know if I can help you or not, quite frankly. What I will do is get through some of the areas that we work in, such as decreasing debt, increasing cash flow, and reducing your taxes. And by doing so, this could possibly shave years off your retirement date. Now, if there's an interest on your part when we get back together, what we'll do is gather some notes, I answer any questions you may have, and that way when we do get back together, I'll have a plan designed specifically for you. Federal Financial Group, a little bit about the company. They've been around for over 20 years. And what we've done, we partnered up with other carriers, such as insurance carriers, annuity carriers, and other financial institutions. Some of these companies have been around for over 100 years. Most have over billions in assets. And our mission right now is to help people like you become financially independent. Because what we do is we teach people about money, how it works, and how it could possibly work better for you. Now, what is your definition of financial independence? Okay. Ours is pretty simple. The bucket of money you've put aside over your working time frame now earns enough interest that it can replace your income. Once you've reached that point, you are now financially independent. You don't have to work anymore. Now you can choose to if you want to. Point is, you have choices. You don't have to. Now, wouldn't you like to know how to get there quicker? Well, that's where we're heading. Jim, there's problems in today's world, and we'll get through some of the problems. We'll also get through some of the solutions. Challenges today are, look around, watch the news. People are losing their jobs. Their saving habits are poor. Their mindset is poor right now. They don't know what direction to go. And the lack of security steps in. And what's happening is people are spending their future. They're tapping into their 401ks and things of this nature to take care of the present. That is not a good plan. And the point in question, I mean, we got 10,000 people a day turning 65. Doesn't mean there's 10,000 people a day retiring at 65, but they're turning 65. Let's break it down. Say out of 100, how many do you think are financially independent when they go to retire? What percentage? I thought it was higher than that myself. Quite frankly, the answer is 4. 4 people can actually retire financially independent. So now you got to ask yourself, what's the other 96 doing? Oh, you see them. They're everywhere. Walk into Walmart. They're cashiers. Hi, welcome to Walmart. They're behind the Burger King counter. Would you like fries with that? These people are working, not because they want to, but because they have to. Case in point, my sons and I, we went skiing over the past winter. Come back, we stop in a fast food joint to get something to eat. Walk in, woman's there cleaning tables, and she turns around. I'm thinking, wow, that's an old woman. I mean, when I say old, I mean really old woman. 75 plus. Cleaning tables, doing this, carrying trash away, whatever. And I seen her, she's doing something. I'm looking at her, what's she doing? Wow. She's scraping gum off the bottom of the table. She picks it up off the floor with a napkin and puts it in the trash. Now here's a woman, 75 plus, scraping gum off the bottom of the table. This isn't a hobby. This is what she has to do. Not because she wants to, because she has to. That's what we're here today, Jim, so that you're not scraping gum off the table. Now the solutions, they're not hard, but you have to have a little bit of discipline here. What we do is we work with people in these 7 key areas. And you can read through these, eliminating debts and so forth. We'll go through them one by one. And we help people increase their cash flow by finding some money that they might not even know they had, by reallocating some money. And we're going to rip through these quick and stop you if you have any questions, and we'll get a little bit more detailed on this. Now, inspect what you expect. If you're looking to build a financial future, you got to know what's happening now. Not 20 years down the road, because you can't change that, but you can change what's happening now. You got to have your money working for you, or even working harder for you. We have tools that can help you track your money, but the goal is, as I said, to free up extra money that you didn't even know you had. And what you can use it for is to pay off debt or put it towards something that's going to build a retirement plan for you. Increasing your cash flow. How would you define cash flow? Okay. Basically, it's very simple what we do, and it's very similar to what you just said. I mean, here's what you earned every month. Here's the bills you paid every month. And here's what's left over every month. Pretty much true? Yeah, it is with everybody. Big, little, real small, okay? That's where we define cash flow. And what we did was work with firms to specializing to free up a little bit more of that possibly. Here's an important question for you. At the end of the year, tax time, are you getting a check back or are you paying a check to Uncle Sam? You get something back, huh? How much do you get back? About $3,500. Cool. I was with a guy just the other week. He said about the same thing, $3,500, $4,000. So I said to him, I says, listen, basically you're getting money back from the government that they've had for almost a year now at this point. And how big of an interest check did you get back with that? And he laughed. He looked at me and laughed. He says, what? This is your interest check for the allowance of you having the government use your money. How much did they send you back? He says, nothing. I said, all right, so the money is in their hands for a year. They send it back to you, and you get nothing back in return for it other than what you put in. Is that a good plan? And he went, no. I said, all right, how about we take some of that money? We don't take it all. But we take some of that money, reallocate it, that goes into something which is going to build your future. So you've got the money working for you, not your money working for them. Does that make sense? He went, yeah. It's all right, that's what we're here to do, Jim. So, what we have here are a few things. First off is creating an emergency cash fund. Do you have one? You got anything with like $50, $100 in it? Right now, something small is better than nothing. You got that? Okay, great. The reason an emergency cash fund is so important is for emergencies. I know that's redundant, but case in point, my transmission went in my car. Almost $3,000. My Ford Explorer that I just drove up in went a few months ago. Yeah, I put it on a credit card, but I also paid that credit card off when the bill came due. Now, what's happening with a lot of people, they put it on that credit card. So now that $3,000 transmission, because they're making minimum payments on a credit card that might have 10, 15 or more % interest on it, they're taking a year, 2 or 3 to pay that off. That $3,000 transmission now costs them $5,000, $6,000 or $7,000. And it could happen. That's where an emergency cash fund comes into play. Write the check, it's done, it costs you $3,000. Why should you put money in other people's pockets? Just that simple. Now, have you ever tried to build one inside your checkbook? That doesn't work out so well, does it? Hey, look, I'm a golfer. Hey, golf clubs. I'm a fisherman myself. Hey, fishing rod. Hey, write the check and away you go and you're out fishing. That's not what an emergency cash fund is for. It's for those emergencies we just spoke about. Now, to build one up, it's got to be 4 things. Liquid. It's got to earn some sort of interest rate, so it's not just sitting in a cookie jar. It's got to be safe, and most importantly, it's got to be out of reach and systematic, meaning not in your checkbook, so in a credit union, in a bank, something of that nature, and whereby, say $50 a week or pay, whatever your scenario is, or $100, whatever you can swing, goes into that every week or every month or every 2 weeks. That will build over time, and it's earning a little bit of an interest rate, nothing major, but at least you know it's safe, it's there, and that's your emergency cash fund. The other thing is protect what you have. We all know somebody who has lost a dad, a father. Not only is that loved one lost, but the income from that loved one is also lost. Who's going to pay for keeping the roof over the house, the food on the table, the clothes for the kids? That's where everybody needs some life insurance. And we do things a little different here. We look at your financial future, but we also make sure that your financial present is taken care of also. This is our big one, step 6, long-term financial independence. This is the one that everybody loves, and it's all about the money game. And Jim, if you listen to me, this could change the quality of your life. This could shave years off your retirement date, because it's all about inflation and tax battles. Because tax battle is very simple. To earn money is one thing, to keep it is another. So the less you pay in taxes, the better off you are, because it stays in your pocket, not someone else's. But let's talk about the inflation battle first. You've heard about the rule of 72. If not, I'm going to give you a quick 5-second. Here's how it works, okay? And here's how it works. You take 72, great number. Where it come up with, who devised this, I have no idea, but it's really cool. If you want to know how many years it's going to take for a amount of money to double, you divide 72 by the interest rate. So obviously if you divide it by 10, it'd be 7.2 years. If you divided it by 7.2, it'd be 10 years. So let's use 4% as an inflation rate, which is, 3.5%, 4% is actually the going rate over the last X amount of years. So that's going to take 18 years for that money to double. Now, let's work it in reverse. You now have $100. In 18 years, you now have $200. And another 18 years, or 36 years down the road, you now have $400. Here's the question, Jim. Is $400 in 36 years going to have the same purchasing power that $100 has today? Probably not, maybe, we don't know. It's going to be close, would you agree? So now, even if you got something that's earning 4%, you're just keeping up with inflation. You're not putting anything away. You got, twice as much money again. But if everything cost twice as much plus twice as much, what have you gained? Not much. Let's look at this. Here's a guy, 4%, he puts $10,000 into something. And as I just said, in 18 years, he's now 47 years old because he was 29. He's now got $20,000. At age 65, he now has $40,000. Not bad, but how long is $40,000 going to last? Probably not too long. Here's the importance of what they call the interest rate. Now here's another guy. He gets just 2% more, only 6%. Not rocket science, but just a couple percent more. Same 29 years old, same 10,000, but see at age 41 it now doubles. At age 53 it doubles to 40,000, and that again doubles again to 80,000 at age 65. Which guy is better off? The guy that's earning 6%, right? Numbers don't lie. Now, here's a guy with 8%. Same 10,000, same 29 years old, doubles, 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 doubles. He's now 65 with $160,000. Pretty substantial. Big difference over this guy. Just by doubling the interest rate, he's quadrupled the money. Let's say you can get 12%. Might be high right now. In time it could happen, but let's use this just for illustrative purposes. Same guy, age 29 years old, puts the 10,000 in, doubles, 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 doubles. Now at age 65, he's got $640,000. That is $600,000 more than this guy. Now it's not the difference of age. They're all 29. They're all age 65 when they go to retire. The only difference, 4, 6, 8, 12%. That's the power of getting the proper interest rate. And it's not about putting $10,000 in at a lump sum, which most people couldn't do anyhow. It's about putting money into a vehicle time after time after time on a systematic basis, once a month, once every quarter, whatever your scenario may be. But it's doing that for the long haul. And you can see by the good interest rate, you're going to have a big difference than this guy over here with just a couple percent different. Now the $1 million question is, where can you get something like that? Well, there's three funds you can put your money in. I should say three funds, three areas where you can put your money into. Let's talk about the fixed account. That's your bank, CDs, money market funds, things of that nature. What do people like about it? Right here, it's guaranteed. It's safe. Downside is what? They're earning 1%, maybe 2% if they're lucky, and it may be taxable. So that 1% they earn, they're in a 20% tax bracket, now they earn 0.8%. It's not going to light your fire. It's not even keeping up with inflation, but it's safe. It's not a bad place to have your money because you can't lose it. Now, what's the other end of the spectrum? Stock market. What's good about the stock market? Yeah, you can have great gains. What's bad about the stock market? Correct. Great losses. So that's a little bit dicey lately. I mean, it just went down the other day. After an all-time high, it's now doing this. We don't know when it's going to do this, do that, whenever. It will be doing this. It's done over since the S&P's been around. Now, that being said, there's something new. When I say new, within the last 15 to 20 years, called the S&P 500, the index products. Now, the S&P 500, you've probably heard of that. That's the 500 top companies in the country here. And it's just a barometer. You're not in the stock market. That just use that S&P 500 as a barometer to say, hey, it's going up, it's going down, and we can judge things accordingly by that. Now, the nice thing about the S&P is your money and any gains, in other words, your principal and any gains, they're protected. They're guaranteed never to lose. They have some upsides. What they don't have that the stock market has is the downsides. And that's why I say you're guaranteed not to lose your principal or any interest earned. Let's talk about that. A little chart really explains this quite easily. Guy puts $10,000 in. Let's say the S&P stock market goes up 10%. S&P goes up 10%. So now he's got 11,000 in there. 10% of 1,000, 10,000 is now 11,000. The next year, the S&P goes up another 10%, and he now has 12,100. He's happy. The guy in the stock market's happy. They both got the same amount of money. Now the stock market drops 20%. Could it do that? What was it, 38% back in 2008? Boom, right off the edge of a cliff. So we know 20 is not really an unrealistic number. But let's say it goes down. This guy just went from 12,100. He now has 9,600. Know anybody that's lost money in the stock market? 401ks, they're complaining about, hey, my 401k is now a 301k. This is the reason. But this guy up here, see what he did? Lost nothing. He stayed level. And the next year, let's say the stock market goes down again, another 17%. This guy's now down to $7,900. That's over just about $3,000 less than what he put in 1, 2, 3, 4 years ago. How good a plan is that? Stock market goes up the next year. Hey, this guy again has the gains, as does this guy in the stock market. Problem is, he's got 9,000 even. This guy's got 13,550, 13,550. Which guy would you rather be? Thought so. That's the power of the S&P. As I say, you're not in the stock market. The S&P 500 is just a governing, it's a barometer. It's a governing factor. Now I talked all about taxes too. That's your inflation battle. Now let's talk about taxes. As I say, it's not only the money that you earn, it's the money you get to keep, the money you get to spend. Here's how this works. Guy walks into a bank. This goes back, obviously, several years ago when interest rates were 5% on a CD or in the bank account. But he says, I want $1 million by the time I'm 65. How much do I have to put in every month? Banker does some calculations and he says, Mr. Jones, you got to put in $1,639.29 every month for the next 30 years for you to have $1 million. Then once it's taxed, you'll have that $1 million to spend. Obviously, Mr. Jones doesn't do it because he can't. Goes someplace else and he says, hey, I can get 10% now on something, still taxable when I take it out. And he says, well, now you got to only put in $8,999.14. Mr. Jones says, hey, that's a whole lot better, but still can't do it. Now he gets that 10%, but now he doesn't pay taxes on what he pulls out. Here's where that difference comes in. He's got to put away now $438.73. Do you know people who could put away $438 to have that kind of retirement program? That's affordable. People can do that. You see, it's all about what you're paying, how you're paying your taxes. Most people with the 401ks, their IRAs and other things, they're getting that tax break. Just to give you a quick example here. They're getting that tax break on what they put in. Where they're getting nailed, and nailed big time, is when they go to take it out. And a farmer mentioned this to me, and I said, wow, this makes perfect sense. He says, so it's like me paying tax on the seed instead of the harvest. I went, yeah. And that's why this is in my book. You know, people have different ways of looking at this. That made perfect sense to me, and I feel that makes perfect sense to the people that I talk to. By the way, which would you rather pay tax on? Seed, huh? Thought so. Now, estate planning. Estate planning is important. A lot of people don't have wills. I hope you have a will. Because if you don't, the state of New Jersey and every other state provides one for you. The problem is, it may not do what you want it to do. Your favorite motorcycle might not go to your Uncle Joe or whomever. So I always suggest you have a will. Also, it sets up your estate planning so that life insurance and things like that can go through estate. If there's any probate, I personally been involved in a couple wills that have been contested. Things get hung up. Life insurance, other things, go right through it. So that's where having the proper estate set up as you want it to is extremely important. Now, if you don't have an attorney, we can talk about that and get one for you. Now, I talked earlier about picking out two that you feel are important. Now, the 7 steps that we're going to go through, and we've already gone through. Which of these 7 are your priorities? Okay. All right, great. What I'm going to do is ask you some questions. We're going to do what they call fill out an FNA, Financial Needs Analysis Sheet. Very simple, a few questions. First one's going to be yes and no. And by doing so, we can find out where we could possibly free up some money, what your dreams and goals are. Because if you were to retire right now, let me ask you a question. If you were to retire right now, what would you and your wife be doing? Would that be traveling? Okay, most people want to travel. Would that be inside the United States or outside the United States? Okay, RV, cruise around. That's actually what my wife and I want to do. Hopefully someday we'll get there. And right now I'm helping people like yourself. But yeah, I mean, that's what people want to do. And that's what we're here to do, to help you build those dreams and goals. And not only build them, get there. So by asking these questions, we're going to design a plan that's specifically designed for you, because I'm going to take this back to the office. We have a very sophisticated piece of equipment, piece of software that we run this through. And I'll come back with something that'll be designed for you and your wife. Now let me ask you a very important question. When I come back and I have something designed for you, is there any reason why you and I couldn't do business? Are you married to who you're using as a financial planner or your life insurance agent right now? Is that your brother-in-law, your son, your daughter? So if you see something you like, we could go forward, correct? All right, great. Now, when I get back, a few things I would like. Here's what I need you to do. I want you or your wife to bake me some cookies, have a nice glass of chocolate milk here, and I'm just busting your stones. Because how we get paid is doesn't cost you anything. There's no fees involved in this. What we do is the carriers that we use to design a plan for you, they pay us a finder's fee, a commission, whatever the case would be. And so there's no upfront money for you. There's no financial planning fees. This is how I get paid, and this is how we take care of your needs. Are we good with this? Jim, I appreciate your time. When's the time we can get? What does tomorrow afternoon, say 2 o'clock, look like for you? Look good? Thanks, man. See you too. Adios. I think we're freaking done. Yay, 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 yay. Bam.